I want to talk to you today about the essence of you, why you should absolutely feel so amazing about yourself, no matter what, and what is in store for you, and what is the essence of you. I want to get to the root of this because you may be walking around feeling bad and you don't know why. I want you to know what you are. Are you ready to go there? Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube. Here to help you break through the fears and live an amazing life. All right, I want to talk about my tagline is that I'm here to raise the frequency of the planet, one light being at a time. I didn't say one sinner at a time. I didn't say one ego at a time or one jackass at a time. I said one light being at a time. Does that make any sense? Have you ever thought about that tagline? I'm sure you've seen it before if you know who I am. That tagline says, you're already a light being. Raising the frequency of the planet, one light being at a time. All right, what does that mean? The planet is loaded with light beings. Everybody is absolutely, when they're a baby, they come in as a perfect light being. Everything else that happens from that day forward is an accumulation of energy in a density that we've agreed to come into because we've forgotten that we're light beings. We couldn't play the game unless we did. We had to. That was part of the agreement. Now, some of us do have memories of certain things. I have memories of past lives, some very powerful ones, many that are not on this planet. And believe me, the same stuff's going on out there a little bit differently. In fact, the egos, the density isn't quite as bad, although some of the things that go on other planets are equally as destructive in other ways. But coming here and having another light being see you as anything less than that, that's pain. That's pain that you don't get to experience as your original self outside of the body. Have you ever had an out-of-body experience? Because something that goes along with that most of the time is the feeling that you're free and that there's nothing else that's important but this connection to this one that you are. You can't be anything less than perfect. Why? Because if you were this, then the universe would make no sense, because this is just an experience of what is perfect. We all come from one thing. That means we are all one thing. That means you and I are absolutely the same energy field, ultimately. It's experiencing individual experiences. We're appearing to be individuals so that we can go into that space. But it came from the absolute perfection and love of the one that is everything. Everything else is not reality as we believe it is. It is an experience. Therefore, the core of absolutely everything is light and love, unconditional. And it's taking that in order to know it and creating contrast. You cannot say, let's say if you believe in the devil. Oh, well, there's the devil. Do you really believe? And I know some of you may have heard this in church and believe very strongly. I'm not here to change your religious beliefs. Believe me, that is the last thing I want to do. I respect whatever you think and believe. But where'd you get those ideas from? Somebody told you that, right? Where did that come from? I want you to ask yourself if it really makes sense. How can there be a separate evil entity, a separate, and I mean truly, independently separate, not connected to anything else? It has the power. How can it be actually separate when everything came from the one? Science proves this. Science proves that everything's connected, everything's affected by everything else, and everything you think and do affects absolutely everything. The closer people are in the experience that you're having with them, the more it affects them, and of course their thoughts and how they react affects this and this and this, and it's never ending. It's never in a bubble. Nothing can be. So even if we're not in my experience, immediate experience, but what we call reality, you could be on another planet and still be affected by what I do. That's exactly what happens. Because you're the finger on the hand or the hand on the body. And you may not know why certain things are happening. But you know that you're part of this body, and this is the one entity that we are. So evil, devil, is a created experience. It is the extreme opposite of the one to experience the lowest depth of contrast that's possible. That's it. It won't exist unless you go into that space. It won't. It can't. So even if it shows up for whatever reason, and there's always a reason, it doesn't just randomly hit anything. It's part of an experience that you're choosing or that you need to know. That entity, whatever you call it, is the one. Now, a lot of you are going to have a real tough time with that. The reason I say it is, how can that not be part of the one, but you are? There's nothing that's separate, so it has to be. What does that mean? It's the one experiencing what we can possibly go into to know ourselves and know how amazingly beautiful we are. You cannot know the sunshine unless you've seen the rain. You wouldn't know what it is. A fish doesn't know anything but water. If you explained anything else to it, it couldn't possibly know it. It would have to be pulled out of the water to know that there's something else and what that is. That's all it is. So when you see these things, you believe in them, they are real for you because everything is created by us. It absolutely is real. As real as it is for this experience. Outside of it, we know that it is just the creation, that as long as anybody puts any focus on it or belief, it will continue to exist. When we stop it, there isn't any. I want you to think about the new earth. When we transition into the new earth, it's already been happening. It's been happening for years. It's a gradual process, and for some it may be instantaneous awakening, which will place you in that higher frequency, another dimension. Still on the earth, you can still function here and do that. You'll see it differently, you'll feel differently. Everything will be different for you. You'll see some of the stuff going on. You'll still get the experiences and the challenges. But I want you to think about this. If all of us went into that space, would evil exist? No. So where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, it went off someplace else? No, it didn't. It didn't go someplace else. Without our focus, it doesn't exist. As long as people on this planet believe that, it will exist. Because that creates fear. And when we release the fear, we break through it, we raise our frequency. One light being recognizes what it is and doesn't reconnect to it so much. You've never lost that connection. You're a higher being right now. This is how dimensions and holograms and reality all exist. We are able to be everything and everyone at one time happening. Not simultaneously. It's just one thing happening. It has to be. You and I and everything that's going on and ever has or ever will or every probability is one energy, intelligence happening. So we have to experience it as individuals to get the experience, the feelings, the teachings, the things that we do. It's so amazing. That's another thing. It's experiencing being separate and individual. When we don't go into the space of density, there's no devil. There's no evil. It could only exist because we're in it. We believe it. We function in it. And that fear fuels it. That is every much an aspect of the one as you are. And as an awakened person is. This is a tough one for us to believe because we think that we couldn't possibly be a part of that. You are. You have to be. You have to be a part of that. It's impossible for you not to be connected to it, part of the same energy field. It's operating as a seemingly separate entity, but it's not. And this is why we must stop the judgment and the hatred, because it keeps us in that energy field. That's the whole game on planet Earth, fear. And so all the things that you're told and everything that gives you fear, be afraid of that. Who's telling you that? The light? The light would never tell you that. The light would say, you are perfect. You have nothing to ever fear. We're all just one. We're all experiencing things. You can create it, or you can go your separate way. What do you choose? You're one light being. That's what you are. Everything else is made up. You can enjoy it. And when we all drop the facade and realize I'm looking at myself. Have you ever experienced that? I've done it twice. One was with Eckhart Tolle. It was a live meditation. And we had a moment of, maybe 5-10 minutes of pure silence. And he just sat and stared in the camera like I am right now. And I had this experience that I've had one other time, that I was looking at myself. He still looked like Eckhart Tolle. He didn't look like me, Landria. I just realized he was just me in another form. And I can't even go into detail about how that felt, but it was so overwhelming. And I realized that's all anybody else is. It's me, the one, being everything. And as soon as I felt that, he said, God's honest truth, he said, you probably think you're looking at yourself right now. He said it at the moment I experienced it. We were connected. And there may have been hundreds of other people experiencing that too. I did it one time with somebody who just happened to be, the stop signs were with construction, and he had me stop for traffic, so that the construction guys could do their thing. And I looked at him, and all of a sudden, it was me standing there. Not me, the body. It was the energy field. I realized that's just me being that person. This is really freaky stuff, but this is what we're going to go into. And when you go into the space and you can absolutely let all your stuff go and say, what if that's true? Well, some of you already know this is true. You may not wrap your head around it, but you know it's true. But you're not a sinner. You are a light being, possibly experiencing being a sinner, whatever that means. There's no good nor bad, right nor wrong. It's just an experience, it's just contrast in a low frequency. And as human beings, we don't want to go into that space. We do want to be there for one another in the most positive, beautiful way. That's part of what your role is, to not allow that to happen, to be the solution, to be the person who steps in and makes the difference. That's where the action comes in. I want you to know, no matter what you've ever done or ever been told, you are absolutely perfect, absolutely 100% pure light and love. And the rest is what we all chose to experience, and you can change anything you want. And anything that's ever happened in your past has been part of your chosen experience to gain something beautiful from it. And I know it's tough to say, beautiful? Yeah, beautiful, knowing what we are. Amazing, amazing. I'm not that. I'm not these things. And that person, that body that experienced those things, I'm not that. And that's why out of body can be very beneficial. You stand back and you really realize, I'm not that body laying there. I'm inhabiting that to experience what is the most challenging planet in the universe. One of the planets that I was on was under siege constantly. It had huge bodies of water, cities that were built in water, and it was beautiful. And then there were a few areas that were desert-like, a lot of water on the planet. And it looked very Earth-like. There were some differences. There weren't a lot of mountains on it. The people on there were peaceful, but there were other factions fighting over the planet. And eventually, we had to leave, and I was a part of that. And I did a lot of things there that were so unpleasant, but not quite like here. Because I never had to see people turning on each other in the kind of hatred that we've gone to here. So that devil, that Satan, exists for us here because it's been created by us, because we've gone to such a low place. We've actually fueled that entity, that created entity that can be dissolved at any point, because it's not really what we are. Anything other than light and love is all self-created by the collective, by the planet. It has to have a focus. What are you going to focus on? You're absolutely perfect. I want you to know that, because I want you to know that 2021 is going to have a lot of challenges, but it could be one of the best years of your life. I know this is going to sound strange. People are getting new skills and how they work. People are doing things that they really love instead of hating their lives. People are not allowing others to tell them what to do and not being angry about that. People are stepping out of the matrix and saying it's okay to be a little different, because there's a lot of us out there being different. And we're waking up. I'm here for you because I want to carry that light and let you know that there's nothing to ever fear. You can break through the fear and know that if something shows up, it's an experience. I'm going to observe it. Observation and letting go. Powerful. I have a whole video on letting go. So I wanted to share that with you because I thought it's so important for you to know the power you wield and to never hold back on it, or not get caught up in the stuff that just, we don't need it anymore, right? We need nothing. We are absolutely perfect. Whatever you think about yourself with abundance or love or relationships or anything else, you can stop that story. You can end it. It's time to do it. In fact, it's really time to do it, okay? So go down in the description, sign up for Manifest Anything, and you'll find out when my Miracle Circle sessions are coming up. You can go in and get any of them that are posted in there, because it's actually a master class that you can take, watch it 24/7 for the rest of your life if you want. And you can go in for the live one, and so you'll still get the recordings no matter what. So if there's one like the Miracle Circle, creating miracles in challenges, you can actually go in and sign up for that course, that master class, and start taking it right away, even if it's already the live one's done. But every month I'm going to have a new one. We're going to go into that miracle place. And I want you to remember, everyone you see is that perfect light being. And some of them are in disguise. A guardian angel might be that homeless person on the street that stinks. I want you to look at them and see a baby, a perfect baby, a little innocent, pure, perfect baby. Because that's really what they are. The rest was all the stuff we took on here. I'm counting on you. You with me? You want to raise the frequency of the planet? One light being at a time. That's all you have to work on. And the rest that you give, you're going to light up this planet. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.